What if you and I unify in UNITY? What if you and I unify in UNITY? What if you and I unify? Hey, what's going on, people? You're watching the Unity Sessions with Jay Walker of TLD. We're joined today by a special guest, Light Up. How you doing over there?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how you been the last few weeks and such? Lockdown life in the UK, how's it been treating you?
Yeah, I mean, it can be difficult at times. I mean, the uncertainty of it, and even my music. I really wanted this year to kind of come out, bring in some new tracks and maybe start doing some open mics and gigging. But yeah, that kind of took a bit of a backseat. But I think for all of it, I've definitely learned that good can come from bad. So even if things are a bit difficult, that can always be a song to encourage someone, or you can develop stronger bonds with people as you try to bond and get through the time together. Really. So yeah, it's been 50-50.
Sure. So tell us a little bit about yourself, about your musical journey so far.
Yeah. Yes, my name is Tehillah, which actually it's a similar word to hallelujah, like meaning to praise and like worship God. So I think somewhere music's kind of always been in me, and it's just kind of in later years I've brought that out more. And I think I've had those times when in difficulty I've heard a song and it's really encouraged me, and it's been like exactly what I need to hear at the moment in time. And so with some of the writing I've done and some of the emotional outlets, I felt like, what, this could be that for someone else. Like that could be, the hope in a rough situation, or that voice of like, I understand where you're coming from and I get you, kind of making people feel known. So yeah, I think much of the music and the Light Up platform is very much about that hope and like having that voice together with like through difficulty.
Yeah, and one of the things that intrigued me seeing you was I didn't expect rap straight away. What made you fall in love with rap over straight, that contemporary gospel type thing? What did it?
Lecrae, I have to say, I
Yeah.
mean, he's been a big inspiration throughout most of my teens. And yeah, I think as I've listened to the rap music and I've been singing along to it and getting in it, I've really enjoyed it as a craft. I think you can really build such a picture and like really share so much in such little time. And like, especially when you kind of like do double time and you really go for it. And I've just seen how he told such really great stories and shared so much emotion in really clever ways and really creative, different ways. And rap is not the same. Like you can kind of switch it up, have like maybe a bit of some maybe like a singing rap or more like hard hitting rap. And yeah, I just really fell in love with it really. And from then on, just thought, I'll give it a go. I'll have a go as well. And people say that I talk fast sometimes, so I thought let me use it as a strength and actually turn that into something good. And yeah, I've just loved it more and more. And there's other artists like Andy Mineo, different people who I enjoy. But yeah, I think from that I have to say it's spurred me on.
Yeah, it's always good. I always like taking the opportunity to big up Lecrae online because it catches a lot of heat and such.
Really.
Quick preference check. Lecrae or Andy Mineo?
Oh, he can't do it to me. I mean, Lecrae, he opened the platform for lots of people, so I did expect that. But I do like Andy Mineo though. Some of his later stuff, it's really touched my heart in a way. I just like that kind of same thing of like, wow, like, when he talks about his journey, even like into getting into music, I'm like, I feel like I'm maybe at the beginning of that, and I'm like, if he could do it, maybe I can as well. Like, so I can't. Yeah, I love it both.
Get off the fence. All right. Whitney or Beyonce?
Oh, Whitney. No, Whitney.
Okay.
Yeah, that was an easy one. I love Whitney. Yeah.
What made you go for Whitney?
I think just kind of like paving the way for like younger people who can now have their spaces, and yeah, her music, it really touches me in a very emotive way. I think, especially like her bodyguard soundtrack. I mean, I love the musical as well, which I think that helps. But some of the songs like Run to You, they really touch me in my heart, and it's just like you want to cry, but you just at the same time it's so beautiful. You want to keep on listening, and then the poppy kind of I want to dance with somebody. I love those kind of ones as well. Like it's kind of like they're like tunes. They're real tunes. So yeah.
Nice. And then you seem to be quite diverse as well. Do you have a background in acting and such?
Yeah. So I yeah, I'm acting at the moment as well. I'm doing music. I'm trying to do music production. So yeah, I definitely dabble in a lot of creative fields, and I think yeah, I've always loved like musical theatre, for example, when I was like a young at school, and yeah, I like dancing. I did salsa and Latin and ballroom at university as well. So I think yeah, the music is taking a bigger drive now at the moment, but I do see how they can maybe feed into each other, like music videos
Yeah.
and like yeah, just like you're bringing other people on board to do different creative kind of projects. Yeah.
Yeah, if you act and do music, the music videos must be awesome.
I'm looking
100%.
forward to doing
Looking
music
forward
videos
to
soon. I mean,
that.
yeah. I mean, I've got some ideas, obviously with the the pandemic and this kind of things. Like, I will keep an eye on it, but I've got some ideas in the back of my mind that I'm hoping to
Nice.
do.
So when did you write your first song?
First song. Um, it's difficult because I did poetry when I was quite young, and yeah, I kind of like made like little tunes on the piano and
Hmm.
little things like that. So I probably didn't know I was songwriting. I probably just thought I was just, playing a random tune and just randomly writing some words together. I think my first song probably might have been maybe like Sister's Keeper, because it was it's like compiling different snippets of poems and rhythms and different things, and finally putting it together as like, this is a song now. So I think, and it's got
Hmm.
a big place in my heart as well because of the lyrics and like alluding to racism and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So I think yeah, probably Sister's Keeper I would say is my golden first song. It's yeah, it's very close to my heart.
Yeah. And so how long ago was that? How long ago did Sister's Keeper come out?
Yeah, so I wrote snippets here and there, but probably fleshed out more of the body to Sister's Keeper last year.
Hmm.
And it again during my time of like self-reflection and reflecting on my own racist experiences, and the frustration and pain I felt. I
Yeah.
kind of put it into like this, turning into a song. It was half rap at first as well, but I kind of changed it. But then when with this year with George Floyd, that actually brought it back to my mind again, and it came with like fresher lyrics and a fresher like perspective. Even some of the lyrics, like there's some lyrics that say, "Hush, little baby, don't you cry." And I think seeing his daughter,
Mm.
and even just like looking to the future as as a woman who wants a family in the future, thinking if I were to have a daughter, what would I say to her in all the stuff that's going on, and how would I even go about these conversations? And it really brought me to a place of like pain and just yeah, I saw like this baby in my mind, and these kind of words, and yeah, that's where the "hush little baby, hush little lady, don't you fear" kind of came from. And I think that's when it really became like a firm song in my heart, and I knew I had to get it out because with all the stuff going on. I thought, young girls need encouragement, and particularly girls of color, and yeah, I just thought now's the time. Like, no more fear,
Nice.
no more worries, just yeah, help people. Yeah.
Yeah, because does it feel any different to you? I know a lot of artists came from poetry into music.
Mm.
Does it feel different to you writing a poem versus writing a song, or does it feel like all part of the same cloth?
I do feel there's differences because I've with poetry, the aim is a bit different with a song, because I think for me, like, poetry is very much just getting the emotion out there, but in the song, it's also wanting people to enjoy it and wanting people to like to kind of sing along and to feel a part of it. If
Hmm.
that makes sense. So yeah, so for me, I don't know what the technical way of saying this would be, but for me, poetry would be like just the raw emotion, just like this is yeah, it's on the paper. But I think a song for me is kind of building a community and like building that feeling of singing along to it, and kind of getting in the hook and getting in the feel of it and kind of feeling it together with other people, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's a interesting. What would you say is different in terms of the skill set there? So, granted, you kind of want that sing along value from a song, but did you feel like? I guess what I'm getting at is, does it feel like an awkward transition, going from poetry into music?
For me, not so much. I think it actually helped to be a bit of a springboard, because I kind of didn't
Yeah.
realize I was making music until I started having so many poems. I was like, well, what am I going to do with these? like, so I think for me, it was kind of like poetry, then kind of became rap. And then I was, especially some of maybe some of the racism ones. Like I think rap was it felt like more like a natural medium to kind of get that anger and get that frustration out. So then I could see how, okay, these poems can become raps. But then sometimes when I would then break down the rap into like different verses or different like sections, I realized that, actually I can repeat that a few times, and that actually sounds like a pretty decent like chorus. And I think from there I started to see actually, this rap could become a song. And so I think, for me, it's kind of been like more of a gateway actually from poetry then to rap then to song. But then I still enjoy all of them. So I'm now trying to like put them into their own, okay, actually this is definitely a rap and this is definitely a song and this is my poem, just myself. I don't need to share with anyone and stuff like that.
Which is another awkward balance, right? How do you decide what to keep for yourself and what to put out?
That's a good question. I think if I see like value in someone else hearing it, I think I would try to make it into a song or into a rap or something at public. But I think if it's too close to my heart, and if I still feel like a bit teary or a bit I don't know, like very emotionally attached to it, then I might wait a bit. Because I've had some, it's funny you say that, because I've had a rap I wrote, I think last year or so, I can't remember, and it's very close to my heart. But I've taken the time not to really touch it too much, because I know that if I still rap to it now, I still feel a bit of like that emotion attached to it, and I think it'll be good one day for someone, and I want to encourage someone. But I think in protecting myself and putting myself in public as well, I think I don't want to just, like put everything out there and then it's like my raw emotions are just open and then it's too difficult for me to like hear. So I think I'm just trying to there's some I think definitely a bit more healing and then I can bring that one out, but others I'm like you know what, somebody's to be encouraged, let's go for it and bring it.
Because it feels like you do continually, it's hard to necessarily project what every song in your career is going to be like or sound like, but it does feel like at the heart of you seem to have quite strong either causes or emotions embedded in kind of all of your tracks. I guess the ones that jump out are Sister's Keeper and Inhuman. Do you feel as though this is a phase or something that needs to be addressed for now? Or do you feel like throughout your career, a lot of your music might be quite emotionally strong or politically charged?
I think it will be throughout, because me as a person, I do like to talk about quite deep things. I think my friends and people who know me, I think I don't shy away from those deeper and more uncomfortable conversations that sometimes once you brush past it, is actually things get better when you actually deal with them. And I think something like racism, even before all this stuff was happening, I was having these conversations with people and it was just maybe a bit more difficult or maybe not as openly accepted. But the kind of person I am, I would always want to do that. And even with emotion, it's ironic because I've not always been overly sharing in my emotions. It's only probably the last decade that I've been more like that. But I've noticed it's been so freeing for me that I feel like, well, I want to be able to be that freeing for someone else as well. So I think, I can see it being quite a longevity thing, because it's like it's been such a wow, like there's so much freedom in being real with what's going on in society and what's going on with your heart, that I want more people to kind of tap into that. And
Well, would you say you're more likely to share your strongest feelings with friends and family or with a microphone?
I'll say friends and family,
Yeah.
Because I don't know if they're happy about this, but they get like the raw, like they get it raw, no rhythms, no beats, no nothing. They get it like that. So, but and I actually, even like recently, I've actually been writing a song, kind of in honor of my friends and my mum, my sisters, because it's like, even that is that's a gift as well, because I don't want to take them for granted, or they just hear my problems or hear what's in my heart. But actually, that to actually walk with someone in their journey and be a part of that is such a gift. So I think that's good.
One of the things I'd be interested in hearing, because I don't get to hear the narrative often, how in terms of racial oppression, injustice, these things, how would you say the Black female experience is different to the Black male experience?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think even in terms of how how racism plays out, it can be very different. And I think with black females, I think there may be, I don't know for sure like the black males, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I think there can be a lot of identity kind of issues regarding racism. So I think as a woman, there's a lot of focus on like beauty, on femininity, being feminine, and those kind of topics. And I think sometimes racism can, for black women, it kind of corrodes what, how feminine or how beautiful of someone is deemed. So I think, yeah, so I know there is like brutality, and there is those kind of aspects of racism as well. But I think sometimes there is maybe more of that emotional, deeper level of it, because it's like, yeah, if racism plays out into your dating life, or it plays out into your interactions with your work colleagues, and how people perceive you and how they connect with you as a person, if that's a bit difficult, then it raise questions inside of like, oh, and I think for me personally, some of the conversations I've had, I think that might be an area that needs to be addressed as well, in terms of how we tackle racism for black females, and not just having a blanket, one size fits all kind of, approach. But
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, this enlightening to hear. Just because, like you said, I say from the black male experience, like the biggest kind of obstacles are often the direct confrontations with police and authorities, and the perception of being dangerous. I think those are the biggest kind of battles faced. So yeah, as you say, like, I don't even think in terms of the black male psyche, we don't even get to think about, say, dating life or whatever else is not even on the agenda. So it's always interesting to hear those differences, however subtle they may be. For those who kind of watch or hear this kind of thing, or seen these kind of interviews before, and are thinking, what are you talking about? There is no race problem. Why do you keep talking about race in your songs and these things? What are you talking about? What would be a response to that?
I think it's difficult because it's like a journey, I think. And I think for some people who are willing to take that step of learning and kind of waking up to the situation around us, then I'll say, great, like start reading, start looking at videos, start asking these questions, start having conversations. But I think it's difficult because, with even like, in recent social media, with some backlash, surrounding certain adverts and different things going on. I think if people aren't in that place of wanting to learn, or wanting to know what the problem is, or wanting to dig a bit deeper, it's very difficult to have any progress, or to even be like, oh no, actually this exists. Because I don't know how to make sense, but I think some of the conversations I've had, I just know that if people aren't on that journey yet of not enlightenment, but on kind of uprooting and looking at things from a fresh perspective, it's very difficult to really move forward until they get to that place. But hopefully with things like George Floyd, that has been a global catalyst to help a lot of people wake up quite quickly to, oh, actually there is still a problem. There is a lot of things I didn't know were going on, or I didn't realize was that deep. So I think something like that is a good global catalyst for a lot of people. But even that happened this year, and even this year I've seen that for some people it's still not enough. They might need, maybe, do you know what I mean? It's very difficult. So
yeah, I hear what you're saying. I think for some people they're voluntarily blind, whereas for some it's a state of affairs. But I think this was the thing I found over the summer, especially, where there are some people who genuinely feel like George Floyd is the first racist thing to happen in the last 60 years. There are those guys floating around, kind of out there. In terms of approaching it from a Christian perspective, what would you like to see done within the church, or even at the higher levels of pastors and such? Is there anything you'd like to be done in that regard?
I think acknowledging,
in terms of how, because I guess if we look at it in a broader sense, there's a huge undercurrent of race in terms of emphasis right now, and there probably will continue to be. Non-Christian organizations are making themselves heard. individuals from all walks of life are making themselves heard. In terms of the church, there's probably a bit of a mix there. Praise to Hillsong, who are consistent throughout, regardless of, this isn't an endorsement of anything other than support of Black Lives, by the way, but Hillsong, Ryan King in Wood Green, Alex Brito, Mosaic Church. Those are some of the names and people I've seen in direct action. But I just wonder, because it can be a forgotten thing if we're not careful. We can almost forget that the church are supposed to have a say and a voice on such issues.
No, it's definitely true what you're saying. I mean, I've had conversations about similar things, even in my church community. We've talked about, how can we address this issue practically and stuff like that. And I was honest in that, some of my friends, they didn't feel that the church was necessarily a place for them to, feel overly safe and welcome, and that upset me, and that really was heartbreaking. And I think, how can we practically deal with that? How can we make it a place that is welcoming, and that it doesn't just like you say, there's pockets of support, pockets of encouragement, but actually that it's a given that equality is necessary. It's a given that all lives matter. I'm sorry. Sorry, I don't want to get sorry, that was sorry. Do you know what I mean? It's a given that that God.
I know what you're saying. We have to be careful with the keywords. Certain people get triggered with the keywords.
That's the thing. I didn't mean it like that. But
I know what you're trying to say. But this is the thing. Like, if you can allow me to clean it up for you and tell me if I'm wrong.
Sorry.
But you're saying that everybody's life matters, and there is a specific issue to do with the treatment of Black lives.
The thing. God. It's we as Christians, and on this earth, we're all made in the image of God. We're all equal. There's, God didn't kind of like put people in races and make things segregated. We as humans, we did that, and I think it's even as a church, we should be looking to break down these barriers and not be supporting them or tiptoeing around them and being scared to actually make those changes and have those conversations that break those down. But it's tricky. So I don't.
Do you feel like Christianity is tainted in any way because of its history in relation to race?
I know some people could have an argument for that. I know some people could, because Christianity, I think for example, like I see myself as a follower of Christ, or a follower of Jesus. I think when you Christian as just a name by itself can mean a lot of things for a lot of different people, and I think being born in a certain country can make someone a Christian, or being of a certain political party can make someone a Christian, or being of a certain ethnicity can make someone a Christian in different circumstances. So I think in terms of there's been a branch of Christianity that has, I would say, is damaged that Black relations, and has not been the protector and the upholding of justice that not even Black people but a lot of other people needed. So I can see how there's a branch of Christianity that yes, but Christianity is more than just a label, but it's following Jesus. And I think I'm more of the mind of, well, if someone's following Jesus, they should be living their life in a way that reflects that. And I think just having a label or just having a name, even going to church, doesn't necessarily mean that you're following and that your heart is completely surrendered and completely actually, if that makes sense. So I'm just it's difficult because I
hear what you're saying. I think for me, the reason why, even with things like this, the reason why I always bring it back to the church and I bring it back to believers, it's largely because of my expectations. I don't know if my expectations are right or wrong, because we're all human and such, but it just feels like it would be strange of me to expect somebody who the Bible calls dead in sin to act right, so to speak. So for me, I kind of always have to start with the church and say, what are the believers doing? Because it's almost as if the believers and those following Christ, if it's not representing God there. If church is still segregated there and things like that, then my expectation of the world and whatever else is going on outside, it can't be higher than the church. I feel like something's gone horribly wrong there. Yeah, that's why I always bring it back to the church, just so you know. In terms of going forward with the music, what would you say you're looking to achieve within your career?
I very much live by the motto of, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness will not overcome it. And so, for me, it's shining light into darkness can be exposing injustice, could be exposing greed, suffering, all that kind of stuff. But also that light shining into darkness can also be in people's minds and in people's hearts, where there's difficulty, where there's pain, where there's suffering and hurt, shining a hope and shining a light into that. So I think it's kind of like a two-pronged kind of vision, I guess, in ethos. Like the Light Up brand, that's why it's called Light Up, because it's about that light, and it's about exposing the dark and bringing light into the dark. So yeah, that's very much how I want my music to be. People hear it, that I want people to be uplifted and to be hopeful and enjoy it, but I want to also be able to challenge difficult conversations and difficult topics if I can, and yeah, kind of have hope for people who lack justice, but also hope for people who go through difficulty.
Yeah, and in terms of those who hear your music, what would be the impact that you'd want it to have on them ideally?
I want people to feel encouraged and to feel hopeful, and also, as a Christian, I want people to see an aspect of God as well. To think, which I think, like someone like Lecrae and that music, that's something that touched me in my own journey with God, because like you're saying, I don't want to just be a Christian because my family was Christian or because it was a label. Like I wanted to have that personal relationship, and I wanted to know this God who loved me and who would fight for me and who would turn darkness and bad into good. I think with my music, I think I want to encourage and I want to help people, but I think I want it to show that walk with God as well, and that there is that hope beyond just what we see in this life. That there's a greater hope. There's someone even bigger than us, even bigger than our circumstances, who has a good plan for us, who loves us, and if we're willing, we want to, is available and ready, there waiting and wanting to be with us. So that's a bit of like an undercurrent, but I hope that will come through in the conversations and the lyrics as well.
Yeah. Do you see your style always being rooted in rap and hip hop?
The music I listen to is already quite varied, so I think my music would take on different subgenres just by naturally. So probably, I probably could see myself branching out to different genres and having subgenres of even like dance and funk and like a retro feels and even cinematic. I mean, I like a good film score, so I wouldn't mind like having, I don't know, some sort of cinematic piece or song or something. So I could definitely see myself moving around, but I'm still experimenting, still trying out different sounds with some new tracks I've got coming up. So who knows? Hopefully we'll see you soon.
Nice, sounds good. Would you say there are any female rappers that kind of influence you as well? I know we picked out a couple of the guys, Lecrae and Andy and such. Any female rappers that kind of inspired you over time?
Jackie Hill Perry, Again, I mean, hearing her testimony, and I think seeing her boldness, that really encouraged me, because I thought, she's. I think I don't want to say too much, but I think her boldness and just sharing so openly on difficult topics, I thought it was very bold, and I respect that, and I think, and her rapping, I enjoy her rapping as well.
Yeah. She's creativity at its highest, Jackie Hill Perry, and I think I get what you're hinting at there as well. I think she represents a community that isn't highlighted, I would say the almost like if they were to be highlighted, it would mess up the whole narrative. So yeah, but she's still out there flying the flag.
No, but yeah, we all have our journeys, and
Yeah. So the way that I always like to end, I always like to ask, what can people pray about for you in your life?
I think maybe as we enter 2021, God's willing, soon, hopefully, I think knowing which, because I've got quite a few ideas for different, different ideas. Yeah, I don't want to say what they are, just sway anyone. But and it's just kind of like knowing, which direction to go in, because I could go in one direction. I mean, do you want me to give detail, or maybe no? I'll leave it.
Up
If
to
people are
you.
praying, then I don't want to sway them.
Just tell the people what to pray for. That's the main thing. God knows, Just give them enough to be in the right direction.
Yeah. I'll probably say continued resilience and tenacity. I think, as this year comes to an end, there have been difficulties at times, and I think not being able to physically get the music out there has been a bit of a setback. So I think as we enter the new year, whatever it looks like, we continued resilience and tenacity to pursue it, whether it's online or however it looks, and good direction on which projects to really invest in and which ones maybe are for a future time.
Awesome. Yeah, it's a good prayer. All right, Light Up, we thank you so much for joining us. We definitely look forward to more of your music. Do check out the links and such that you'll see below there if you want to get her on Instagram, on YouTube. YouTube is growing nicely, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, any last words?
Thank you for having me, and I hope to have some content out for you all soon.
For sure. Look forward to it. All right. Take care.